Hey everybody, I Eat Rocks here, and today I wanted to take a minute to talk about a loadout that I've been using quite a bit this week, and it's a super aggressive assault loadout, and it's built completely around using the AEK 971. Now, in Battlefield 3, the AEK isn't a gun that I like to use all that much. I actually prefer to use the F2000, but with Battlefield 4, I decided this week that I wanted to feel like I was proficient with this gun because technically I think that the AEK is one of the best assault rifles in the game just because it's got a very fast time to kill, and in the right hands this gun is incredibly powerful. So I spent most of this week using this gun, and I'm glad that I did. I had a lot of fun doing it. It's definitely not an overpowered gun because it takes a lot of time to learn how to use it in different situations. So yeah, I just wanted to take a minute to talk about my experiences with it. In the background here you're going to see me playing a Domination match on Paracel Storm. It was a really fun match, very close to the very end, so I hope you enjoy that. So let's talk a little bit about the AEK. First, and I think most importantly, this gun shoots at 900 rounds per minute, which is not the fastest assault rifle in the game. The FAMAS has 1,000 rounds per minute, but 900 rounds per minute is very fast, and with the assault rifle damage model, it makes the AEK have a very fast time to kill. Now the negative parts of this gun, and there are actually quite a few, is that it has a very high vertical recoil and it has a lot of pull to the right. So controlling the recoil on this gun takes some practice and some getting used to. And I actually went to simthic.com and checked out the stats on this gun, and I saw that the first shot recoil for this gun is very high. It's actually a 3. So the first shot when you burst fire this weapon has 3 times the normal recoil than the other shots that follow it. And that makes a lot of sense because when you try to shoot this gun at range, you're going to see that it kicks up a lot, and it takes a long time for this gun to settle back down and be ready to shoot again. So that was something that you need to keep in mind and adjust to, because using the AEK at range isn't the easiest thing to do, and if you're not letting it settle back and kind of be ready to shoot again, it's all the harder. So yeah, definitely keep that in mind. So the way that I load out my AEK is I like to use the laser light combo. Now I got pretty lucky and I unlocked this pretty early in a battle pack for the AEK, and yeah, it works super well. So when you're not aiming down sights, you have that laser sight that increases your hip fire accuracy, and when you are aiming down sights, it turns on a flashlight, which makes it's kind of disorienting to the enemies that are looking at you. So I definitely like running with that gadget on this gun, just because if you're using the AEK, you're usually right up in the middle of things, very close quarters combat, so hip fire is more important in those situations, and you don't have to be so worried about giving away your position because you're face to face with your enemy. So flashlight and a laser sight are something that I usually avoid on my primary, but if you're right up in there anyways, it doesn't really matter too much. So I also like to run with the vertical grip, and that will increase your hip fire accuracy. So along with the laser sight and the vertical grip, you are going to have pretty okay hip fire accuracy with this gun. And the other benefit that the vertical grip has is that it lessens the penalty for moving while firing, so you can be a little bit more aggressive. It's a very run and gun loadout. I also like to use the muzzle brake. Now this decreases your muzzle climb by 25%, which is really important. I think that the vertical recoil in this gun is the hardest thing to control. So I thought that it was worth the 30% penalty to automatic fire. And the other thing about this gun is it just shoots so fast that it doesn't matter all that much that you're less accurate while you're just holding down the trigger, just because if anyone's in front of you, they're going to get hit because there's so much lead flying out of this gun. And then for the sight, use a red dot sight, because you don't need anything with any magnification. This thing kicks too much to be accurate at range. And you'll see here I'm running with the Cobra sight, and the reason is because the AEK is a Russian weapon and the Cobra sight is a Russian red dot sight, so just to look a little bit more authentic, I think that's kind of cool. So one of the other major downsides to the AEK are reload times. If you have a shot left in the magazine when you reload, you have a 2.3 second reload, which isn't incredibly fast, but if you run out of ammo, it increases by 1.3 seconds, so you have a 3.6 second reload time, which is incredibly slow. And the important thing to think about when you have a weapon that reloads so slowly is to have a sidearm that you really can depend on. And here I'm using the 93R. It was my favorite sidearm in Battlefield 3, and I haven't used it too much in Battlefield 4, but this week I was using it and I've fallen in love with it. It's great. It also has a 900 round per minute fire rate, but it is burst fire, so you have to practice and get that timing down where you can burst fire it as fast as you can. I would recommend using a suppressor and a flashlight on your sidearm as well, just to stay off that mini-map and to disorient your enemies. I just don't have them unlocked yet with the 93R. So for gadgets, I'm running with the med bag, and I think that you should use the med bag definitely with this loadout, because being able to hide away for a second and heal up is incredibly important, as well as to heal your teammates. And then I'm also using the defib, which if you wanted to use the M320 or the M26, I think that makes a lot of sense as well, just to have, you know, more offensive capabilities. And plus, you know, they've nerfed the revive mechanic in Battlefield 4 enough that I don't really know if it's worth it to run with defibs, you know, quite often. For the grenade slot, I prefer to use impact grenades. Some people prefer to use the mini grenades. Either way, you're fine. I like the impact just because if you can be accurate with them, your enemy doesn't have hardly any time to react. And so yeah, that's what I'm running with here. And so now we're going to talk just a second about field upgrades, because I think that there's two field upgrades that you could use with this loadout. I prefer to use the offensive field upgrade, just because having that extra ammo that you get with it is really important, especially with the AEK. With that crazy high rate of fire, you're going to be shooting a lot more bullets to kill your enemies than you would with other weapons, so it's really important to have a lot of ammo available. The other perks that are involved in that field upgrade are sprint, which you get right away, which is great for being super aggressive. Grenades, extra grenades is the third slot, and that's a good bonus. It's not incredibly, you know, it's not something that I think about when I pick that upgrade, but it's nice to have if you get there. And then the last one you get is decreased fall damage, which, and you know, in my opinion, that's not an incredibly important one, just because you can parachute off of, you know, a lot of stuff. And then the other field upgrade that you might want to use is the defensive field upgrade, and the reason is because that first slot is body armor, and that means you can take one extra shot, and that's a very powerful thing to have. So yeah, I think that defensive is a very good one to do as well. The other things in that field upgrade are lower suppression, which is great. Being suppressed in Battlefield 4 is not fun, so lowering that is good. And then the third slot is flak, so decreased explosive damage, so if you get hit with a grenade you take less damage. And then lastly you have quick regen. So both of those field upgrades are very well, if you can pick either one, and I think they're both good to use. So that pretty much sums up this video. I hope that you liked it. If you haven't tried out these weapons and whatever, definitely give it a shot. It's a different kind of play style. It's very in your face. You have to be right up in the mix, but you know, it's really fun, and when you can play well in that mode, you kind of feel like a total badass. So let me know what you think, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks. Bye.